Hi there. Welcome back to You Can Emerge Positive. I'm Deanne. I work with women in their midlife and help them see it is not too late and show them a pathway forward with confidence. And today, I want to talk about something that may seem a little light, maybe even trivial, but I think is actually really important. And that is having fun. I want to talk about the importance of fun. And more specifically, I want to talk about what happens when fun quietly walks away from your life. It just dissipates. Because if you're a woman in midlife, especially if you're a mom, you may have gotten very good at carrying responsibility, right? Keeping things moving, being dependable, and showing up for everyone else. But somewhere in the middle of all of that, joy begins to slip away. Not all at once, or maybe even not even dramatically, but just gradually. You get busy. Life gets heavy. People need things from you. Work needs things from you. And family, of course, needs things from you. And before you know it, fun starts to feel optional, extra, maybe even frivolous, like something you'll get to later, right? But later doesn't always come unless you make it happen. And with Mother's Day coming up, I think this is such an important conversation to have because it can be a moment of reflection, a moment to ask yourself, when is the last time I really enjoyed my life? When is the last time I did something just because it made me feel alive? When was the last time I gave myself permission to experience joy without earning it first? Well, that's what we're going to get into today. There's this message that so many of us women absorb over time, even if no one says it directly, that being a good woman, a good mother, a good partner, a good employee, and even a good daughter means being selfless. Ugh, it means being productive, responsible, available, efficient, and strong. And while there's nothing wrong with being dependable, I think many women reach midlife and realize they've built a life that they can manage, but not always a life that they are fully enjoying. That's a hard realization because you can love your family and still feel depleted. You can be grateful and still feel tired. You can be successful on paper, but still quietly think, is this all that there is? I think a lot of women feel this way, but don't say it out loud. And one of the reasons, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation right now, as Mother's Day is right in the this upcoming weekend, is because moms are so often the emotional center of everything. You know, you hold so much. They think about everyone. They carry the invisible load. They make things happen. They keep the traditions going, right? And they remember what needs to be done always. But who's reminding them that they matter too? Who's reminding you that you matter too? Who's reminding you that your life is not only about what you produce or organize or hold together, it's also about what you experience, what fills you up, what allows you to breathe easy, what makes you laugh, what makes you feel connected, and what makes you feel like yourself. I think sometimes we forget that joy is not a luxury. It's part of our well-being. It's part of our health. It's part of being fully alive. You know, I've been thinking about this personally too, because there have been seasons in my life where fun has absolutely been put on the back burner. Because life sometimes gets serious. It gets very full, things get busy, and somehow the things that nourish us the most are what go first. I know it's so crazy. The things that could help us the most and make us feel better in times that are so stressful, we put those last because responsibilities always feel urgent, but joy does not. And that's exactly why we have to be intentional about having it in our lives. Because if you wait until everything is done, until the house is just perfectly cleaned and organized, until work slows down, if you wait until everyone else is happy, well, you're probably going to be waiting a long time. And I think that's one of the big lessons in midlife because you begin to realize that life doesn't always automatically create space for what matters most. You have to do that. You and me. Because you have to decide that it matters. You have to protect it. You have to plan for it. That doesn't mean that every day becomes carefree and easy. Of course, it's not. I mean, life is life. But it does mean that you stop treating your own joy like it's negotiable. And I think for a lot of women, especially moms, that can feel uncomfortable at first because we're so conditioned to think that I should be doing something useful or I should be helping someone in my family or I should be checking something off of my long to-do list. I know I do that. But what if taking care of your spirit is useful? What if going to lunch with a friend is not wasted time? It's so funny. I just canceled the lunch today. But, and it's because I felt like I didn't have the time. But what if going to lunch with a friend is not wasted time? Doesn't that fill you up when you leave that lunch? What if taking a walk outside is not unproductive? How many of us do that? Oh, I can't do that. I just don't have time. I got to get dinner ready, or I've got to go to the grocery store. I got to do something else, right? And we don't take the walk. What if planning a trip is not indulgent? Of course it's not. It's so much fun. To me, it's half the trip. I love planning a trip. What if laughing more, resting more, and enjoying your life more actually makes you stronger, clearer, healthier, and more present? I believe it does. This is why it's so important. I also think there's something else that happens in midlife. You start to feel time differently. If you're with me on this, if you're in your midlife, I know you know what I'm talking about. Time is different. You feel it differently. You become more aware that life is moving, that seasons pass, children grow up, our parents are getting older, and then our bodies are changing. I hate that part. My energy also, the energy changes. And opportunities do not sit around forever waiting for you. Unfortunately, they don't. And that awareness can either make you fearful or it can wake you up. It can remind you, I don't want to keep postponing what I really want in my life. That doesn't mean you have to blow everything up. That doesn't mean you need some dramatic reinvention overnight. Sometimes the shift is much smaller than that. Sometimes it begins with asking, what feels fun to me now? Because what we loved doing in our 20s is not what we love doing in our 50s. So ask yourself, what feels fun to me now? What do I miss doing that used to bring me joy? What have I stopped doing that I used to enjoy? What would feel light? What would feel nourishing? What would give me something to look forward to? Because sometimes fun is not some huge event. Sometimes it's just having dinner outside, or going to a farmer's market, or taking a day trip, going to a concert, going to a class, taking a beach walk. That is one of my favorite things to do. And I am guilty of putting that off. When I do it, oh my gosh, it fills me up. Maybe taking a hike does that for you, or a weekend away. It could be as simple as having a phone call with a very dear friend. Tell me that does not make you feel better. There is nothing like it. Having a phone call or on an afternoon where you just don't make yourself all about everyone else's needs. You actually do something for yourself. Sometimes it's just simply being present to enjoy your own life again. And I think that matters. Now, with Mother's Day coming this weekend, I think it's the perfect time to really take note of all of this and how you feel for yourself. Because, well, flowers and brunch are great, and I do love both. They're lovely, but many of us really we don't need another gesture. We need to give ourselves permission to stop minimalizing ourselves, to stop putting ourselves last, permission to want more joy, more room, more support, and more peace. Permission to remember that you're not only here to take care of everyone else. You're a woman, you're a person, you're a soul, a life, and your life deserves to feel like one you are actually living. So, here's something practical I want to leave you with. If you've been feeling depleted, flat, over responsible, or just like life has become about all function and no joy, don't just hope that fun is going to magically come back. You have to plan it. Put something on your calendar. Not someday or not when things settle down, right? Oh, when things get better, I'll think about me. No, because you know something? Probably not going to happen. You need to do it now. Plan the day off or plan a lunch, a hike, that weekend away. Plan a summer trip. Look, it's almost May. So plan something, some trip to do in the summer. Doesn't have to be long, could be a couple days, but plan it. Plan one thing this month that brings you joy. And while you're at it, do next month too. One thing. One for this month, one for next month. Because what I've learned is this. Vacations, they don't just appear. Time off doesn't just appear. And fun usually doesn't just appear either. You have to plan it. You have to create it. And once you do, something will shift. You remember that your life is not just a list of obligations and responsibilities. It's also an experience, and you're meant to enjoy it. Success and fun, they're not enemies. In fact, I think joy fuels us. It helps us think more clearly, show up more fully, love more deeply. Also, to lead better, recover faster, and feel more connected to who you really are. So, if this season has felt heavy or stressful, let this be your reminder. You do not need more pressure, you just may need more life. And maybe that's the message for Mother's Day too. Not just thank you for all you do, but please remember who you are beyond what you do. So as Mother's Day approaches, I want to leave you with this. You're allowed to enjoy your life. You're allowed to make space for joy. You're allowed to matter too. And if you've been waiting for permission to stop putting yourself last, let this be it. Because midlife is not the time to disappear into responsibility. It is the time to come back to yourself. And that doesn't happen all at once. It happens one choice at a time. It happens 1 hour at a time, one planned moment of joy at a time. So this week, I want you to ask yourself this question. What would feel fun, nourishing, or life-giving to me right now? And then don't just think about it. Put it on the calendar. Literally put it on the calendar. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, somebody who you know really needs to hear this message. And if you're looking for a reset in your life, I created a very free download PDF. It's called The Reset. You can just go to emergepositive.com. It will help you create your mornings with clarity and calm. And as you do that every day, you are going to start seeing these benefits in your day-to-day life. It's free. Again, emergepositive.com. Go there and download it. And while you're there, check out on the website the program called Beyond by Emerge Positive. It is an amazing group and community of women, all in midlife, who are all designing their next decade with intention and with purpose. And if you feel ready to do that, come join us. It is the most incredible experience, truly. And we meet monthly with a master's class and then also with group coaching. If you're interested, it is all on emergepositive.com. But I would love for you to join us, truly. Well, I really appreciate you for joining me today. I appreciate you for supporting this podcast and supporting Emerge Positive. And I just want you to remember you matter. And we have a choice. We are in midlife right now. Everything that we do right now, it really matters. We don't have 50 years left, likely, but we have at least 20, maybe 30, maybe even 40. Let's make them ours. Let's create our chapter two in the way that we want to be living. You can emerge positive.